All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh man, listen, I have been up since 4:30 this morning, and I got more energy than y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Even better. Thank you so much. Welcome to your spring orientation. This is the first one in person in 2 years. So it is HyFlex. So the folks there are virtual. We got about 52, it looks like, people online. Can you grab me a program for me, please? That's one of the programs they have. So we're doing this HyFlex capacity, and so this is your welcome. I'm going to go over an overview this morning and get started before I start my actual presentation. Kamiko, I hope you can hear me okay. She works at our Dean of Students office as our Dean of Students liaison. And so I want to personally welcome you to orientation. Thank you so much, Isabella. I appreciate you. And so we have a lot in store for you today. We did a lot of planning. It was very intentional. It was a lot of work because we had to make sure we took care of our folks who could not make it, who are remote, as well as make sure you have the best experience here in person. So you're going to meet academic deans. You're going to meet faculty. You're going to meet a lot of our campus partners. We got a fair for you this afternoon where you will get to table and meet some of our other campus resources. And so be excited, be engaged. You're going to have time with your orientation leaders that's going to talk about a lot of different things. So each of you should have got one of these. Does everybody have one? Hope so. Sweet. On the top, there should be a number. Not have a number, raise your hand. Awesome, that means my OLs did an amazing job. OL stands for orientation leader. Come on in, have a seat, welcome. So if you are virtual, this part that I'm talking about right now does not apply to you. But for those of you who are in person, there is a number at the top of your program. That is your orientation group number. It should be between 1 and 10. If you have an 11, you don't have a group. If you have a 0, you don't have a group. So make sure you have a 1 through 10. What that means is they will have signs, a nice big sign, and it will have their group number on it. So when we go to the orientation leader community building, there's, I believe, 2 times. Your schedule is on the first page of your program. I would assume most of you have seen it by now. And what I'm going to do as I run into a chair for my online folks is pull up our website because it is also present there. Now y'all gonna have to work with me because I gotta work the camera. Apparently I gotta get in the screen. This is like way too much. So let me exit here. So website should be. Nope. Don't have it open. Go me. All right. So, yep. All right. So I'm going to share my screen so my virtual folks can see their schedule as well. All right. So here we are, orientation. So what's on this screen right now? The same thing in your program. Okay, again, I'm just pulling it up on here so you can look at it up here, but this is also for our virtual folks. And so when you're in your groups, so your first group session is from 9:35 to 10:10. Again, if you are virtual, this does not apply to you, but that's when you find your group number. So if you're group 4, if you're group 8, whichever your group is, when it says community building, that's when you find your individual with your sign. Their signs are huge. You can't miss them. We're going to walk you over there, so no big thing. And so I'm going to start with a welcome, and I'm going to do a brief presentation. You are going to then hear from our Title IX department. Everyone, virtual and remote, will be able to do that. Paul, look at me figure it out. All right. So that'll be a presentation. Then you're going to go with your orientation leaders. After you are with your orientation leaders, you're going to be in our really cool student activity center. And if you've been in the student activity center already, so a few of you. It is new. We just got a lot of the stuff inside of it in June of last year. So it is hardly used, but it's really cool. So you all will meet there. And from there, your OLs will kind of help direct you how to get to your majors. And so this is when, if you're virtual, you have a break between 10:10 and 11:05. If you are here, you are going to go meet with your department chairs. So in your program, if you turn to the second page, what's that? It gives you like, oh, if I'm an art major, I'm then between that 10:10 and 11:05 slot, I'm going to go to the art building in room 204. And if I don't know how to get to the art building in room 204, because you all are in college, so y'all are smart, there's a map. In the back of your program, there is a map with campus listings. So I would find art. Oh, look, 7F. Go to the map, look for 7F. That's how I know how to get to the art building. Orientation leaders will be walking around campus, helping people who look lost, help you get to where you're going. But this is the time, welcome, come on in, have a seat. This is your time where you meet with your majors. And so if you have a minor, you can go meet with the folks for your minor. If you are undeclared, that is totally okay. We have a place for you to go. If you are undeclared, you're going to the library. And if I can did they pull up my list? Y'all see? Great. Anybody see undeclared on the list? No, I'm not going crazy, right? All right, so I'm so happy I pulled this up. All good. I am going to show you where you're going. All right, so here we go. Because it looks like it's cut off after wildlife. So zoology was also cut off. So any zoology majors in here, physically present? All right, zoology, you might want to write this down or take a picture. You are going to Science Building 223A. And that's during the major exploration session. So if you are a science zoology specific, you're going to Science B 223A. If you're undeclared, you are going to Library 27B. Library 27B. Again, if you're virtual, you have a break during that 10 session. So no worries. Anybody else can't find where they're supposed to go when it's time for the major orientation with the department. So again, you can like start, like if your major is, I'll keep going with zoology, but if your minor, if you just are really into social work, you can go there for 20 minutes and then walk over to the social work department and meet the folks who are working on your minor. So you have that hour, you just walk around, meet, they're gonna share resources and things like that, okay? Any questions so far? All right, so then after that 10:10 session, our virtual folks will come back from their break. And we're back in this room at 11:10. You're going to hear a session from the registrar's office for new students. And then we go to lunch after that. Again, if you're virtual, you obviously will eat in your own homes. And you will go, if you're in here, to the stack, which is where you're going for your 9 o'clock session, so you know where to go there. So it is a whole pandemic. We all up in here with masks on, right? So we want to make sure you are safe. We want to make sure people feel comfortable. Because of that, if you are in groups 1 through 5, if 1 through 5 is on your list, well, on your list, everybody's going to go to the stack. But if you're in 1 through 5, you're going to go downstairs first. You are going to eat first because we're going to spread you out so that, again, we can be safe. You can totally grab your lunch. If you rather eat outside, it tends to kind of warm up and it's a nice day around that noon-ish time. You can totally take it and eat outside. But 1 through 5 will eat first. 6 through 10, if you're in group 6 through 10, you won't go downstairs first. You're gonna go upstairs to the 2nd floor first. Again, your orientation leaders will be there with their signs, so just find your side, your folks. And then they have a small 20-minute activity that we're all doing together. And then we're gonna switch. So they'll eat from 11:50 to 12:10, and then from 12:15 to 12:35, the group 6 through 10 will go downstairs to the depot and eat. And then the depot folks will go upstairs to do their activity, okay? So 1 through 5 will eat first, 6 through 10 will eat second, and it's about 20, 25 minutes. After lunch, you come back here for your session on well-being and essential needs. And then the online people, you will log back in by 12:45. And then after that, we are done in this room. Unless you are in the College of Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences, you will stay for your 1:15 session. But if you are in CPS, which is the College of Professional Studies, or if you're in the College of Natural Sciences, such as like zoology as an example, you are going to go to Music B for CPS or Founders Hall, Gibbs Hall for CAPS, which is the College of Arts and Humanities. Again, orientation leaders are going to help you walk there, so don't worry, we'll be here. If you are remote, there is a link that I'm sharing on my screen, that's hyperlink. You can join these sessions based on your college by just clicking these links, and it will take you directly to the sessions that you will still be able to participate. And this is where you're going to meet with your academic deans and transfer students just like you, as well as students who came in as freshmen as well. And so to be between 3 to 6 students, that's your opportunity to ask them questions. And then once you ask them questions, they'll answer them. They'll have some preloaded questions, but that is about your college and or majors from the student perspective. And after that, the orientation leaders will be, again, in that space. They're going to walk you over to Forbes Gym. And Forbes Gym is where that is your opportunity to meet and interact with the resources that we have on campus. We have a lot. We have a food pantry. We have several student organizations. We have a student disability resource center. The list goes on and on and on. And so during that time, there's a DJ in there. You'll be tabling. There's free giveaways. There's raffles. There's desserts to go. And so you will meet about and hear about our resources, as well as meet other student organizations that you can join if you're interested. And then if you are remote, you will not be going to the resource fair. This is your opportunity, if you are remote, to meet with the department chairs from your major. And so that break that you had at 10:10 to 11:05, your session, your version is 2:25 to 3:15. So while the students who are in person will be at the resource fair, the people who are virtual will be attending their department chair sessions where they'll get those resources from their academic major and or minor. If you are here at Forbes Gym at 3:45, we will start an optional campus tour. That's an opportunity from admissions office to take you around, show you where certain resources are, as well as help you out if you have questions and tell you about things that you may not have seen when you were walking around, probably lost, looking for your major exhibition. So with that, any questions about the program at all? Pretty simple. If you get questions, no big deal. We have a text number. So things will happen throughout the day. Trust me, I know I've done a lot of orientation. So I encourage you, if you're in person, take a picture, write it down, go ahead, text us right now, say what up. We do respond, we are human. So that is our text number, 707-993-4397. If anything happens throughout the day, if you get really lost and you don't know where to go, you lost your program, you have no idea how to get back, text us, we will respond. If you don't know where your orientation leader is, and you're supposed to be with your OL, say, hey, I'm in group 4, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be. We will find where your group 4 leader is, help you get to them. If you are remote and you're joining us virtually, you can also text us if you have issues with links, if you have issues with knowing where to go when. We are there to support you in that endeavor. So we're pretty quick on the text, so we should be all good. But save that number.
What's the last four?
Last four are, we go back down, 4397. 707-993-4397. And that is my orientation team, as well as some support staff who will be working our text today. All good? We all good to check in? Yes, question.
Will we be receiving our student IDs today?
Question was, will you be receiving your student IDs today? You cannot, because the library does not open until Tuesday. The library has been closed, but the library, thank God, and it's so, we have one of the most amazing libraries, and it's amazing. So the library is open on the 18th, and you can get your ID. Great question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? For those of you who are virtual and remote, you can also ask questions. There's a Q&A at the bottom of your screen. My support team will be answering those questions for you as well. So know that you are not left out, and the chat feature is also open for you all to engage as well if you like. All right, so with that, if there's no more questions, I am going to transition to our new students presentation. And all right, how much time I got? 9:03. Oh, question, yes.
Can you send us the slideshow, or is that early?
You asking me for a lot here. Yes, I will ensure that you get all of the presentations that happened today. We will email them to you all at the end. You will get those. So great question. Yes. Also, before I start our presentation, thank you for that because you made me think about something. So how many of you completed your orientation course on Canvas before you got here? If you have not, you have until the end of the day to do so. Why does that matter? There is a link. Now, all of you completed it. How many of you completed that link that was like, we want to send you some swag, fill this out, and then it'll come to your house? Okay, she like half the hands went up. All right, so go back into the Canvas course. And if you did not, if you're virtual, Kamiko is going to put the swag link in the chat during my presentation. But go in, and all I ask for is your name, your address, put the address you want it to go to. So if you're on campus, put your campus address. If you're living in local, put whatever address. It's like a t-shirt, it's a hat, it's all a bunch of HSU stuff. It's free, you paid for it already. So if you don't put in the information, you just won't get it. Fill that out, it'll come to your house within a couple weeks, okay? All right, so here we go. I am the Dean of Students. My name is Dr. Ebony Ford Turnbow. I have been here almost 3 years, and I oversee our orientation program. It is a joy to finally be here back in person with our students. A little bit about me, I do a lot, right? I do a lot, I have an amazing team, but I do a lot because I love to engage and support students like yourselves. And so I'm not gonna read this, this just tells you all of the areas that are in my shop. So I have 18 departments, including orientation, and a lot of the people that you are going to meet today are on my staff, as well as many of our orientation leader volunteers who do get some incentives thereafter. So if you're interested, if you think your OLs are really cool and you want to be an orientation leader next year, we can converse. But essentially, my areas support you outside the classroom. That's the biggest way I could sum it up, right? So if you have issues with your professor or about classes specific or tutoring or anything like that, you will work with your faculty members or your department chairs or your academic dean. If you need support outside of that, such as getting involved on campus, student access services, student disability resource services, if you need some testing support, if you want to join one of our cultural centers, things like that, you want to get involved, you need a job, all of the above. That's some of the stuff that you come to me and my team and we support you with. So we do everything from peer support services with mental health, all the way to your big homecoming concerts on campus. That's all run through my shop, okay? So that's me. Some of you met Jennifer at the check-in out there. She's my assistant to the Dean of Students. She runs our calendar and helps us support our offices. And then care services. Our care support team is a lot of our team that helps support you and helping converse with your professors if need. So if you have some mental health challenges, or if you are sick and in a hospital, you need an excuse to pass, like to get a makeup exam, things like that. Our care services team is a team in the Dean of Students office who does that. That's Rob and Callie, who are amazing. Where am I located? So y'all walked up all those stairs and or went up the ramp up the back way. Welcome to Hills and Stairs University. Down those stairs and literally across is Siemens Hall, is my office, 211 Siemens Hall. I love when students come in and visit. Come on in, have a seat. I love when students just pop in and say, hey, Dr. FT, because a lot of students call me that. Ford Turnbow is my last name. So you call me Dean Ford Turnbow, Dean FT, all of the above is cool. But they'll come in. You don't always have to need something, and people think that the dean's office is where you go to get in trouble. Not the case, all right? I just supported 11 graduate students this past week and sending them to a conference, and I'm sponsoring majority of it, okay? They needed some support, they needed some funds, and I'm gonna send them to that conference. I'm here for resources. I'm here to support your development as a student and here to support you as a need. So It's not always a bad thing when you're visiting the dean. I want to get rid of that stigma, okay? All right, but I want to talk about some serious stuff because you do come see me when you're in trouble. So I'm looking around, everybody is wearing their mask appropriately. Again, we're in a pandemic, it's no secret. However, we have a responsibility, not to me because I'm the dean, to each other, right? You want to make sure everybody's comfortable. I'm not going to read this. Essentially what it says is, we have a campus policy. You have to wear masks over your nose, over your mouth when you are indoors. If you are outside and like not more than 6 feet, you need to have your mask on, obviously, unless you're eating or drinking, you take them off. There are buildings though, that right now, because Marion out here acting crazy, if y'all don't get that, he didn't get your social media game up, but you can't eat or drink in a lot of our classrooms, okay? And so you see signs all around here, like I got my coffee from Starbucks this morning and it's cold, why? I can't drink it, okay? But I can go out to the courtyard or go outside and I can drink. Or you can eat and drink at our campus facilities that are designated food areas. It will have a sign if it is. So big picture is, if you are enrolled, you made this agreement already. That came with the enrollment. I'm sure y'all didn't read the fine print, but I can promise you that it's there. You feel sick? Don't go to class. You know your professor. Say, hey, I don't necessarily have a positive test, but I'm feeling a little scratchy. I don't know what it is. I'm going to test it. They will accommodate, okay? Here's how to wear a mask, right? I went to the gym at 4:30 this morning. There was a gentleman in there. Gym has policy, you gotta wear a mask over your nose, mouth. His mask is underneath his chin. Me, sir, can you put your mask on? Because I don't want what you got, and I don't know what you got, because I don't know you. So he put his mask on. Don't make people have to do that. Wear your mask fully and proper over your nose and your mouth. It doesn't go underneath your nose, it goes over your nose and over your mouth. Fully wear your mask. Again, it doesn't go above your chin, it goes fully over your nose and your mouth underneath your chin. You don't need a mask, we got a mask for you, no big deal. What is 6 feet? Average size sedan is 6 feet. 3-seat sofa, that's about 6 feet. Man, I want to lay down with a laptop on. That's about 6 feet. So that gives you an idea of if you're in somebody's personal space, because we just don't know how comfortable people are or are not. So if you need a face mask, one, I keep like 4 in my bag. You should probably do the same. But we're human. We make mistakes and we forget. No big deal. These are several locations on campus. If you park, you're like, oh crap, I forgot my mask. You can come here to get your mask. So you can go to UCD, which is on the first floor of the Student Business Services. Got a map in here. You'll know where SBS is. Right there. And if you go to that campus tour, they'll show you where SBS is. That's where financial aid is. So the cashier's office is. So you will be very familiar with the Student Business Services building. Jolly Giant Commons. How many of you live in housing? Good number of you. You will be familiar with the J. That is also what it is known as, but they will give out masks if you need. College Creek is another location. It's not far from the Student Business Services. And then there's a parking kiosk. Any of you parked in lot G by SBS this morning? Okay, a few of you did. There's a parking kiosk there. They will give you masks. If you don't know where that is, again, there is a map in here, okay? Well, those are, and there's more, but these are like the main ones that are most accessible. All right, so this is when the conduct piece comes into play. Right? People say, I have the right, I don't have to wear a mask, I don't have to get vaccinated, I don't have to be boosted. Wrong. We are an institution that are required to follow various rules, laws, local CDC, local health department, et cetera, et cetera. And because of that, you do have to wear your mask when you're in the classroom. Your faculty will ask you once, hey, can you put your mask on? That will be it. Comply, right? Comply, do the right thing, put the mask on. However, if you violate, you can be restricted from campus. That's when I have to intervene and you will be removed. You will not be excused from any missed work, and any penalties will be on you because you just didn't wear your mask. Now, forgetting to bring a mask is not the same thing. That's when you go to those locations I just showed you, go get a mask, go back to class, no big deal. However, please do know that you do have a vaccine requirement. There is now a booster requirement. You have until, I think it's early February, before after that, you will be put on a health and safety hold. So let's avoid all of those things. Submit your vaccination record, submit your boosting record. So someone may say, well, I have an exemption, need to be 10. Awesome. What you do is you still go into the system, file for the exemption, it'll be reviewed, and after that review, you just follow those steps, no big deal. And I'll take questions at the end. Oh, that is the end, awesome, even better. I've been talking a lot. So again, any questions about any of these things up here, I can answer, or anything that I just said about vaccines, boosters, any of those pieces. Any questions? Yes.
Do we have to get tested regularly while we're on campus?
Great question. The question was, do I have to get tested regularly if you're on campus? No. So if you are vaccinated and submitted your come on in. If you are vaccinated and submitted your vaccination records, you do not have to get tested while on campus. If you file for an exemption and your exemption is approved, you do have to get tested weekly while on campus. So only if you file for exemption and it is approved, that is the only time you have to get tested weekly. Yes.
Is there free testing?
Yes, absolutely. We do not charge you for testing. You go through our student health services and they will schedule your appointments. They'll do all your tests, all of that. You do not have to pay for it. Yes.
Yeah, for the free swag, is it on like the Canvas virtual orientation stuff? Or is it on-
Yes, great question. The question, and I'm going to repeat the question for the virtual folks. Question was for the free swag through that swag link, where's the link? So if you go into your Canvas course, and if you go, when you get into Canva, you're going to go click orientation. And it's at the very end, because there's a module, when you go into your orientation course in Canvas, there is and it says swag, and it's going to take you to a Google form, and you fill out that information. It's just your name, your address, your shirt size, and I think that's it. And you hit submit, and that's all we need. If you cannot find it, you can connect with me after or an orientation leader, and we can get it for you. And if you're virtual, again, we'll drop that in the chat if we haven't done so already. Yes, another question.
What's the policy if like your classmates test positive and like they were in your class, you get notified?
Question was, what is the policy if your classmates test positive? Do you get notified? So it depends. So we cannot share public medical information of students, right? Of course. Welcome, come on in. So if someone in your class tests positive for COVID, we do what's called contact tracing. And so it will just depend on where that contact comes from, and then we trace, okay, who needs to know, who doesn't need to know. And then if there is a sense where, oh, okay, you might have been exposed, we'll say, hey, please get tested, et cetera, et cetera. I can tell you, in this is the third semester we've been in person, we have not had any major outbreaks on our campus the entire year. Any other questions? Yes, and I'll come up there after.
I was clicking the link to find where I could schedule a booster shot, and I couldn't find one past this Friday. And my 6 months is in October until mid-February,
Uh-huh.
and I was wondering, is there other places other than on campus to get the booster shot?
Yes, the question basically was, are there other places other than campus that you can get the booster shot, right? Yes, absolutely. Work with our student health center because they have a lot of inside connections and for our students specifically that they can help you get, even if it's vaccine or booster, they can help you get appointments if you need it through our student health center. And we can get you that contact information. There was a question up there. Yes.
Are you accepting CA smart cards as proof of vaccination boosters?
Are we accepting something smart cards?
CA smart card is the app they use sometimes for vaccination.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. And tell you why I don't know, because that is not my job, luckily. No, I'm not trying to be funny, but so the Student Health Center, they have a list of acceptable vaccination pieces, and when you go through them, and so they would be able to answer what proper documentation, but and I'm pretty confident it's on their website too. So Student Health Services, if you go to humboldt.edu, Student Health Services in the search bar, I know for a fact that on their site, it lists what vaccination records that they need to send. Yeah, sorry I didn't know that off. Any other questions? Yes.
Who's the person on Zoom?
Who is the person in the bottom of Zoom? That is Camille Davis. She's a Dean of Students Liaison. She works in our Dean of Students office, and she is helping with orientation today.
issue with like the actors from Insecurity.
I don't think the actors from Insecurity is gonna be working up at Humboldt State. I'm just saying. It would be cool though. Yes, sir.
I just had to answer the guy who asked about this.
Oh, please, yeah.
They did. I submitted smart cards done and they accepted it. Yeah.
Thank you. I love resource sharing. Yes.
Also, CVS is a great place to get your booster.
CVS is a great place to get the booster. I would agree. Yeah, CVS. There are several local in the area. Any other? Yes.
When you go to the library to get your student ID,
Uh-huh.
will they do like the picture and like take care of all of it?
Actually, you can upload the picture you want online and then just pick it up at the library. So if you go to the library website, again, I do everything, like I go to humboldt.edu and then type in whatever the department is in the search box. Just type in library and then go to their site and then ID cards will be right there. But you just put in like the name that you want, because some people prefer preferred names versus legal name. So you can put your name and then you can upload a picture and it gives you the parameters of like it has to be on a white background and that sort of thing. And you upload it that way, you can just show up and get your ID, but they also can do a photo for you. Yes.
Okay.
Great question. Any other questions? Hearing none. Yes.
Where do we submit our weekly COVID test results?
So it goes directly through the health center. The question was, where do you submit your weekly COVID test results? And so the great thing is that the health center has a system depending on where you get your test done. Like if you do your testing on campus, you don't even have to do anything. You just gotta go get tested and it'll automatically go through the student health center. And then they will only reach out to you if like there's an issue or error. So you don't, but if you go off campus, then that it goes to the student health center and they can tell you how to do it. But if you go on campus through it, you don't have to worry about it at all. Yeah, it gets populated automatically. Any other questions? I see something about where do you get through Moja information, how to sign up. So it was in the chat. I happened to look over. So the Cultural Centers for Academic Excellence is what's over here. And so we have various centers. I'm looking up for you all can see. But basically we have an African American Center on campus, which is our Moja Center, El Centro, which is our Latinx Center, and ITEP, which is our Indian Tribal Nation Center. They do have physical spaces on campus, and it's meant to be various places of support for folks on campus who identify or are allies of those spaces. So you do not have to be Black to go to the African American Center. Like if you are an ally and support, you do not have to be Native to go to the ITEP Center. It is a place for allyship, support, campus involvement, and a lot of them will be at the resource fair this afternoon. But again, if you go to humboldt.edu and put in those names and want more information, you can, their websites will pop right up. One of the last things I'll say is that we are operating fully in person. Okay, we are in person. There are some remote courses, but what I mean by that is beyond your classes, there are in-person events, there's in-person meetings through services and departments. You can go physically to departments and get service. You won't be able to do a lot today because we don't start classes until Tuesday, so a lot of departments are closed. But as of Tuesday, everything is open. And so you can go to a basketball game, you can go to the student activity center, you can go in the library if you want to study. You can go to the physical, you can do a lot of those things in person. We are open and operational. And so just remember that as we are moving forward, just be safe, keep hand sanitizer. We're gonna have it all around. You can use it here, keep masks on you, and then eat in spaces that you're comfortable. We try to make sure that we either spread you out or eat outside. You do have that option. So with that, any other questions? Yes.
Are clubs gonna be in person?
Is what in person?
Clubs?
Clubs. The question was, are clubs and organizations in person? Yes, there are clubs and organizations that will be in person this starting this semester, and a lot of them will be at the club fair. Not all of them, but a lot will be there today.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where can we get parking passes?
Question was, where can you get parking passes? So the parking information is online, so you can know in advance how much it costs, because it costs a little money. But once you go to the student business services, for if you parked by G11, you park right by SBS. But that's where parking is located in the student business services. I think second floor, but there are signs in the building that tells you where it is. Great question. Listen, let me tell y'all something about parking. They will ticket you, okay? Like they will ticket you. So if you at a meter, pay the meter. And I think some of the meters are like 2-hour limits. So you gotta go back and pay some more. Some are 4-hour limits. So just make sure you pay attention to where you park. And if you don't have your parking pass and you park in the spot that you need it, you'll get the parking pass because they will ticket you. So just FYI, there was a hand down here somewhere. Yeah.
Is the parking pass just for the G11 parking lot or?
No. So good question. The question was, is the parking pass only for G11? No, and it's not only for G11. That's just where it was free today because orientation has a comp code. But there's faculty and staff parking lots, and then there are student parking lots, and they'll give you, if you buy a pass, they'll give you a little sticker to put in the window. So as long as you're in any student lot on campus, you're good. You just can't be in a faculty staff lot or you will.
And the meters, you still have to pay even if you have to, okay.
Yes, if you park, because the meters are separate. So if you are, because like, for example, if guests come to campus and they didn't go do something for 30 minutes, like they can park at a meter. But if you park at a meter, even with a pass, you have to pay the meter. Good question. Any others? Yes.
What about the school Wi-Fi?
School Wi-Fi information. So you use your login. It's called EduRoam, EduRoam is the network you connect to, but you connect to EduRoam, and then you log in with whatever your My Humble, like mine is ENT14, and then my password, and that's how you connect to the Wi-Fi. And if you don't have it set up yet, that will go through IT. I'm saying right now, I am not doing Wi-Fi. I be calling IT all the time. Yes.
Wait, so, you guys do like the Bluetooth contact tracing, or you guys do like manual, like text everyone, like whatever?
For like contact tracing for COVID?
Yeah.
We do it based on like campus as a collective. So like, if you are on the basketball team, like we're not just gonna track your class, we're gonna do contact tracing for like the team, like kind of like based on your campus involvement, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah. Mhm. Yes.
Employment on campus, how would we go about that?
Employment on campus, how do you go about that was the question. So there is an app or a website you can use either, or it's called Handshake, HANDSHAKE, Handshake. That is where departments post job opportunities. And you go on there and you apply. And there's also a career services that is located in the library. Career services can also help you navigate job opportunities and internships as well. So the career services working Handshake. I can tell you right now, we are often and consistently looking for folks to work in our student activity center through dining services. And so you do not have to live on campus to work in, like you can work in dining and not live on campus. You don't have to live on campus to work in dining. But dining, off the top of my head, and the student activity center are areas that are frequently looking for roles. Okay, we have a few more. Any other questions? And if you don't like think of every question right now, you can text us, you can ask us throughout the day. It's all good. Yeah.
I have a question. It's kind of unrelated, so I didn't ask earlier, but my dorm appointment to go in is actually at 12:30. So I kind of didn't plan that right because I thought there was gonna be like a lunch break in between, but the lunch break's too early for my group because I'm group 1. So how would that work exactly?
So technically, there should not have been any move-ins today because of orientation, so you might have had a special case. But what you can do is contact housing to say you are in orientation, and they will move your time. And I can even message the director for you right after this. If you come up here, I can text them directly, and I can totally take care of that.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. And so any of the us in the black shirts, any of the student activity center folks who have on the yellow shirts, you can ask us questions or you can text that phone number that we had shared earlier. So with that, we are going to continue on with our program. I know students are going to be trickling in because our campus is lots of hills, lots of stairs and all over the place. And so I'm sure folks are heading back. And I know once we get into our conversations that, we lose track of time. And so we don't want to hold up. And so we have an amazing resource here with us. And so you are going to hear all of the wonderful new student tool pieces, especially as transfer students. And so this is Jenny Robinson. She is serving as our co-registrar right now out of our registrar's office. So she'll do a quick session for you and then we will get into some Q&A thereafter. For those of you who are virtual, welcome. There's about 50 of you. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you have questions for Jenny, put it in the Q&A, and then at the end, we will ask those of her, and then same thing with the audience. At the end, write your questions down. You can ask them of Jenny. And then if you just want to chat virtually, you can do that too. But chat is for just conversation, but if you have questions, put that in the actual Q&A box. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you and give you this mic. I'll pull up your presentation for you. Nope, not listening. All right, and I will get out of your way, and it is all yours.
All right, thank you so much, Ebony. Good to be here with you all today. Welcome to spring 22 semester almost at Humboldt State. As Ebony mentioned, I'm here from the registrar's office, and my name is Jenny Robinson. And I'm here to give you some tools to put in your tool belt as you enter into spring 22 semester. And help fill you in on some things that the registrar's office can do to assist you with kind of getting things geared up outside of the classroom. So we can help you with taking care of university business, things outside of your day-to-day interactions with your instructor. So the registrar's office can help you with things like registering for classes, of course, if you're having trouble registering or don't understand a prerequisite, something like that. Our office can help navigate those issues. If you need to change a major, declare a minor, something like that. All those forms we can help you with. Send transcripts. Maybe you need to verify your GPA for a scholarship or for a car insurance discount. We can help you with sending your HSU transcripts. Same thing with verifying that you are indeed an enrolled HSU student. Sometimes you might need that for scholarships, health, car insurance. We can help you with all of that good stuff. And a whole lot more. So petitions, class schedule questions. The Office of the Registrar can definitely help with all of those things. And a lot more. And we've got a bunch of resources on our website. It's just registrar.humboldt.edu, like you see at the top there. And I just wanted to show this to kind of highlight some of the different topics. Oh, don't share. Oh,
It's all good. All right, now let you.
Okay. Let's jump right back in here. Okay. Oh, not there. We'll jump ahead. Here. So our, some of these little,
Oh, we can't see it. Oh, you mean?
oh, you can't see it here. Let's try to move it up. There we go. So back to the registrar's office website, registrar.humboldt.edu. So here's kind of a good overview of all the different things that our office offers: transcripts and grades, planning your degree, so DARS, your degree audit, your degree planner. We can help with questions on that. Transfer credit, if you have questions about the way that your transfer credit came over, how it's showing up in your DARS. We also do graduation clearance in our office. So once you get to the end of your career here at Humboldt, we'll also be the ones kind of printing out your diploma and giving that in the mail to you. But some of the important things that we do are actually right along the bottom. Some of the things you might need every single term that you're here at HSU. One of them is academic deadlines. Those are just super important to be aware of, and we'll talk about those a little bit more in just a second. We've also got the HSU catalog and class schedule and forms and policies. Welcome. Okay, so I said we get into the details on deadlines. I know it's not the funnest topic, but it's important to know before you get into your first semester what some of these deadlines are. So easy one, Tuesday, first day of classes. So be ready, coming up real quick. And then in that first week, you can still add and drop classes in your student center. I mean, classes have already started, so you want to think about that because you're joining after they've started, but you can still add and drop in the first week. Up until Sunday, January 23rd, that is the last day to add a class without a special permission code. And the wait list stop running after that day. So really, week one, that's your time in student center where if you need to make any last minute adjustments to your schedule, week one is the time to do it. Week two, after January 23rd, that's when you can only add with the permission code and when those wait lists aren't running. But you can still add and you can still drop in week two. Monday, January 31st, that's sort of the last day to add with permission code or drop or fully withdraw. And so that gives you kind of those first 2 weeks to feel think about, get your schedule all set. And then on the 31st, that's that last day to add or drop with permission code. And then one other deadline, it's kind of a ways out, is March 14th. It's the 8th week of classes. That is the last day that you can choose to change a class to credit, no credit. Or maybe at other schools, sometimes they call that pass, no pass. You have all the way up until the 8th week to maybe decide to take one of your classes, credit, no credit. We'll talk a little bit more about that credit, no credit rule in a minute. And there's more deadlines than just this. I'm just highlighting a few, so you can find other ones on our website on the deadlines page. Or a little bit, there we go. One other thing to know is through your Gmail, your @humboldt.edu email account, you also have access to Google Calendar. All your classes, once you've registered, will show up in your Google Calendar. I know online calendars are not for everyone, but I strongly recommend it. It helps kind of bring your week together. But one other cool thing about it is that all the registrar deadlines are automatically there in your Google Calendar. So if you're kind of watching and paying attention to your Google Calendar, you'll see it all right there. So let's talk a little more fun stuff, catalog and policy. We're not going to go too far into the weeds because you saw a lot of this in the new student registration tutorial. But one thing to know about HSU is that it is mandatory each semester to connect with an advisor and to be using the DARS degree planner. So each semester you're going to connect with an advisor and they'll sort of expect that you've planned out about 3 semesters ahead. And so that's just something to be aware of, that you'll be connecting with that advisor every semester and kind of working to fine tune that DARS plan, because it's not, for most students, it's not something that you just create and it's set in stone. It's something that's evolving and kind of growing as you decide if you're adding a minor or maybe decide you want to take a different elective in that term. So it kind of helps keep that all on track. Come on in. All right, so I said we've talked a little bit more about credit, no credit. So again, pass, no pass. These are classes that don't impact your GPA if you take something as credit, no credit. But we do have some rules around it. So for major classes, you have to take it credit, no credit. You got to take major classes for a letter grade. And you can only take one class a semester in the optional credit, no credit mode. So you can't, credit, no credit multiple classes, but you can choose to change one class to credit, no credit if you want, as long as you do it by the deadline, which was the March 14th deadline. And again, not included in GPA, putting in writing what I just said, max 1 course per semester and no major courses. And one last thing, 24 units maximum. So over your time here at HSU, we're not going to count the credit grades from previous schools. That is what was done. But during your time at HSU, there's a maximum of 24 units that can be taken in that credit grade mode. And then this thing down here at the bottom is just a reminder about GPA repeats, standings, such as the academic standings, and withdrawals. And so at the end of the day, I mean, clearly you want to go for the highest GPA you can get, but it's important to know that at a minimum, you do have to have that 2.0 GPA to stay in good standing, in good academic standing at the university. And we also have more information on our website. If you're ever looking into repeating a class, thinking about withdrawing, definitely come to the registrar's office. We can help you with that. And the sooner that you come to us with those questions, the more options that are going to be available to you. Even if it is the day of the deadline or even the day after the deadline, please do not hesitate to come in, even if you know you missed a deadline. If you come in that day after, we can help you a lot more than if it's, say, 2 months after the deadline. So just keep that in mind, that we're here to help with all those questions. Okay, let's talk a little bit about transfer credit, which many of you may have. So the registrar's office does process all of those incoming transfer credit, AP scores, IB scores you might have, and updates all of that in your degree audit, in your DARS. So you'll see articulations, those are course-to-course equivalencies. You might see some GE credit come through, and some electives. We also look for, if you came to us from a California community college and you earned one of the associate degrees for transfer, we're also looking for that in our office, and you should see a message on your DARS showing that that degree has been verified by our office or that we're still waiting for transcripts. And so you'll see a warning right at the top of your degree audit about that transfer degree status. We also do check for the CSU, GE, or IGETC, another acronym, but if you went to a California community college, you may be familiar with those. If you are, we're checking for that, and it can clear your some of your GPA.
Audio transcription.
Oh, I guess. There. So another thing is for major credit. Our office, in the registrar's office, when we're looking at your transcripts and determining whether or not those courses will automatically clear your major requirements, a lot of that's based on what agreements we already have in place. So if we already have an articulation, it's just automatically going to come in as that course. And you shouldn't have any problems on your DART. If we didn't have an agreement, you might need to talk with your major advisor about a possible substitution. And so you would talk to your major advisor about, could this chemistry course that I took in Florida, could this possibly clear Chem 109 at HSU? And let's talk a little bit about DARS. DARS is near and dear to my heart. That may sound odd, but I love working in DARS, teaching people about DARS. So I hope that you are starting to learn to love it in your own ways. DARS stands for the Degree Audit Report for Students. And there's a few parts to it. So really my goal here is to help you understand the difference between the tabs where it shows you your audit, your plan, and the schedules. Those three things. So the audit, we're going to talk about first. The audit shows you what you've got complete, what's in progress, and what you still need. That's it. So it's sort of the official audit of where you're at today, based on what you've done, based on what you've officially registered in, not waitlisted, not what you're thinking about adding, what you've officially registered in, and what you still need. So the plan is the same thing as your audit, plus it has all those hypotheticals. It has all those, maybe I'll take this, I'm thinking about taking this, the other term. And so it pulls in a lot more of the, what if I did this next semester or the following semester? On top of pulling in those hypothetical courses, it also does a few other cool things, like it checks your prerequisites. It checks to make sure that that course is expected to be offered in that semester that you're thinking about taking it. So using the plan can really help you kind of see down the road that you might have some issues, so you can plan ahead and strategize around that. So that's the second part of DARS is plans. And like I mentioned earlier, it is required during advising, so your advisor will want to see that you have something like over on the right there that you planned out only 3 semesters ahead of where we are today. And then schedules. So schedules is the last part of the DARS toolkit. And that's what helps you take that plan of, I want to take these 5 courses. And schedules helps you figure out exactly which day, time, instructor you want to take those 5 classes at and kind of find that hopefully perfect or near perfect schedule. This is just my shameless plug about degree planning. Goal without a plan, it's just a wish. Planning, like I said before, it's not that your degree plan is something that is set in stone, like, you know, you're not gonna have it on day 1 and that's the same plan you have the whole time you're here. But the act of planning your degree and keeping that contact with your advisor each semester is really gonna help make sure that you get towards that goal of graduation in the timeline that you're planning on. There's nothing worse than having someone be in their last semester. They maybe weren't paying attention to their DARS planner and didn't realize that that course wasn't offered, or they had another prerequisite. So these things can really help you make sure that that plan is more than just a wish. And so more about graduation, because that's kind of the end goal, right? The end goal of being here, of the education process. So you do want to apply for graduation in your junior year. Many transfer students may already be coming in as juniors. And so what I recommend as a new student is just to have this, if you're a new transfer student who's a junior, so that's 60 units or more, is you want to apply for graduation usually in your 2nd semester here. You don't have to worry about it your 1st semester, but in the fall you should think about it, because really what that does is it declares your graduation date, you know, whatever that may be. And then it also makes sure that your name will be in the commencement list. It allows our office to prep your DARS to make sure, again, that there are no surprises at the last minute. Again, checking that DARS audit. And we also have graduation counselors in our office. I mentioned that our office does the diploma, the graduation clearance. So especially as you're getting closer to graduation, if you're ever wondering, you know, do I really need this last class? Do I have other options instead of this? The grad counselors can really help with navigating, strategizing, coming up with alternatives.
Does HSU offer courses over the summer if you like maybe want to get a couple taken care of?
I will loop back to that at the end. Yes.
Thank you.
We'll loop back to that. And we're almost to the end because we're to the looking ahead part. So I gave you guys dates for this semester earlier, but these are just some dates a little bit further out there, but kind of want to put them in the back of your brain for right now. The spring schedule, that's wrong, the fall schedule. The fall schedule will be available on March 25th for fall 22. And then mandatory advising runs for quite a while. It goes from February 15th all the way until April 8th. Part of that is spring break, March 14th to the 18th. And then you can begin registering for fall classes in the window of April 11th to April 12th. That'll be coming up before you know it. And then finals at the end. So with that, wrapping up, I hope you all have a great semester. We'll have time here for Q&A. I'll leave our contact info up for just a moment here. But you had jumped in with a question right here about summer classes. So yes, we do offer summer session. The schedule for summer session goes live at the same time. But I need to fix that first line, March 25th. The fall and the summer schedule go live at the same time. Thank you. Yeah.
So if you're in like a blended master's program, so like you're gonna basically graduate with a master's in the year after, would you apply for graduation like with your bachelor's too? You have to apply?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, if you're in a blended bachelor's, master's program, you will apply for both, because you are getting 2 degrees at the
Right.
end of it, so yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should also say for those virtual issues, I did say it.
Yeah.
I heard stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna, so these are microphones, so they're really light. So whoever has the next question, I'm gonna toss it to you, and that way the people virtually can also hear your question. And then we'll just toss them around each other. I promise they're like super light. So Jenny, I'm gonna toss up here. You ready?
Great.
My apologies. Perfect. All right, go ahead. Question? Next
Yeah, so in the DARS planning section, some of the.
And talking to the mic.
Some of the courses like show they only like are fall every 2 years. Who can we confirm that with? Like if it will be offered, do we just have to wait till the schedule comes out? Or will we talk to like the department head?
Yeah, so you're asking the DARS planner is only showing that it's offered in these semesters, but you're wondering if it's offered later than that?
Well, it says it's usually like the DARS thing just says usually, which
Yeah.
I mean makes sense because it's not like set yet. So I was just wondering if there's a way to confirm that before the schedule for like the fall semester comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the expected schedule. Usually things that are on the rotation are fairly set. I think the best way to get confirmation would be to talk to that department. Because ultimately they're the ones that will be finalizing that schedule, so they could tell you, no, every single term, we're always gonna offer that in the fall, or, that's, a little bit more iffy. So if it is one that you're really like, I gotta take this semester, check with that department.
Any other questions? Over here.
You just want in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, we got a virtual.
All right, if you can pass that down to, I don't want to hit anybody else in the head.
Oh, when can we apply for concurrent MA and BA program? So we only have a few blended bachelor's, master's programs, and they each have their own deadlines. So for example, psychology is one of those programs, kinesiology has a program, environment and community. And so if you are interested in one of those, I would talk to an advisor in one of those departments and then work with them on those deadlines. Because generally you're admitted to the bachelor's degree first. And then usually after about a semester or two, or if you're a freshman, maybe a year or two, you can apply for entry into the blended master's pathway at that time. But it varies by program.
Who would we speak to challenge, or if we wanted to challenge a course equivalency for transfer? For
Yeah.
instance, if you had a similar class from another college and you wanted to bypass it.
Yeah, so you've already taken a similar class?
Yes.
And is this a class that's part of your major?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend connecting with one other question. What, is this a class that's a prerequisite to something else in your major? Do you know?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay. Talk to our office. If it's a prerequisite, especially if you're in the science programs that tend to have very structured, chemistry, cal, biology prerequisites, and you have something that didn't articulate, like you're describing, we have a petition process it's online. You can do it, in your PJs and send it off to the faculty to get that officially signed off and officially equated to the course that it should be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions? If you are virtual, you can put your questions in the Q&A, and I will pass this over if anybody else has questions in person. Back in the back. You gonna make me get my steps in today, huh? Thank you so much. All right. Can we pass that down? Perfect. Thank you. Yes, I'm like, if you can pass it over, perfect. Thank you.
For the petition classes, like if that requisite is petitioned, will that show up in the DARS audit online?
Yeah, so once a petition is approved and fully processed, it will show up in your DARS. The only thing I would say about the petitions is before you file one, it is good to just chat with someone in our office to make sure it's really necessary. Sometimes there are little things we can do to kind of make things work as needed that may not require all the paperwork and all the signatures. But yes, once a petition for a prerequisite is approved, it'll be in your DARS. Student Center will recognize it, so you can satisfy prereqs when you're kind of trying to sign up for classes. Yeah. Oh,
I don't see anything in the Q&A. Anything else from the audience?
Oh, I do see there's an Q&A. If we are
Got
on-
one? Perfect.
Yeah, if we are on the wait list still after 123, are we no longer able to add a class? Do we have to reach out to the instructor for a permission code? So the answer is yes. Yes. So if you're still on the wait list after 123, you're not going to be automatically added if a seat opens up after that. But if you get a permission code from the instructor and they're willing to add you after that date, you can use that permission code and get yourself into that class, as long as it's before January 31st, which is the last day to add or drop.
I have.
Oh,
So, I have some transcripts that are gonna be coming in a couple of weeks that have my ADT. Is it okay if they're a couple of weeks late? Because I said wait for degree and is that okay?
Yeah, it is okay. We might want to connect. Just, do you know if you're fully admitted right now or provisional?
I'm conditionally admitted.
Okay. There could be some issues with financial aid won't disperse until you're fully admitted.
I've
So I'll
already-
just put that out there. But yeah, if that's not a concern right now. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you just want to keep that in mind that, you know, you will have that degree, you will have the guarantee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just, yeah.
Great question. Any others? Before, right in front of you, right there, right there.
Are the summer courses available on the DARS? Because I didn't see them.
That is a great question. No, they are currently not. So currently, if you go into DARS Planner and you take a look at summer, you're not going to see what's expected to be offered. A lot of that is because the offerings in summer vary depending on what students need. There tends to be a lot of general education, upper division general education, so everybody needs that. And then a few major courses, but it varies, and so that's why we generally don't have the planned rotation in there. But one other reason that the university is really big on DARS Planner is that we look at the data from what you guys are planning. So if a bunch of students are saying, I want this class summer 22, and we weren't planning on offering it, the university will go, yeah, we've got 80 students who want to take this class in summer, let's find a way to make that happen. But I will say, even if it says it's not offered, that doesn't mean you can't put it in your plan. That's kind of like your vote. That's sort of your way of saying, I'm seeing that this isn't offered, but dang it, I really want to take it this term. And that can kind of help influence what may or may not be offered. Yeah, great question. Yeah, one over here, Jenny? Oh, yeah.
If my student center says that my transcript has been sent and is in and you have it, should my associate degree also have been transferred already, or is that separate?
It may still be that we've received it, but we're still processing it. If it's something that just came in after winter break, it probably is still in the queue. But if, you know, by the end of next week, if it still says that, definitely reach out and we can.
Yeah, I
circle
was
back.
just wondering why I haven't received my financial aid yet, but that's probably why then.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know, if you want, feel free to, any of you, really, grab my business card, or we've got contact information up on the slideshow here. You can always contact us if you just want to check. Like,
Okay.
especially for something like that. If it's holding you up, if it's preventing you from getting your A's, from adding classes, we want to help you figure that out.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
All right, we got about 2 minutes for Jenny to talk about any final questions, virtual or in person?
I do see a virtual.
Go for it.
Thing about the iPad program, which I'm gonna look at Ebony and see if she knows anything.
What I know is, so it is for incoming students, incoming new students, and it's through the library. And so if you're interested, I do not have the parameters on how the iPad program works, like what do you have to have to qualify, when you can pick it up, that sort of thing. But I do know that it's run through our library, and that is the best resource. If you have a question or a comment.
I just received an email about that. It said that they're going to be available the 17th and 18th of this month, and that pretty much all students qualify for C-Success, which is like what it's done through. Was what
So
the
seven,
email
well, probably 18th and 19th, the 17th, and okay, yeah, so sounds like the answer is the Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, which are the first 2 days of courses, and confer with the library on how to make that happen. Sweet. And we can give Jenny a round of applause for participating. So, we really do appreciate all of your knowledge. Thank you so much. And please reach out to the registrar if you truly have issues or concerns. They are a great resource for students and helping get where you need to go. So thank you again.